you would know that when you're defending, when you play bridge, you're defending every second hand, 50% of the time.
I didn't ring. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, heck, yeah.
Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Now, Jacobs, I can hear you talking to Lois. Everyone can hear your conversation, so don't say anything too rude. Okay. Don't forget.
Yeah, I was just talking to Nan. She can't.
I know, we all heard. Put it on mute if it's going to interfere with the class. Okay. Now, when you're defending, it's a difficult thing because you and your partner cannot see each other's hands. You have to get clues from the bidding, from the previous cards that are played, and from any signals that you and your partner have that are legally recognised in the game of bridge. So now, one thing that you notice is that when you make the opening lead, that's even harder because you're doing it blind. It's the only time during the play where someone has to play a card without any guidance and without ever seeing dummy and without seeing previous cards. That's just what makes it extremely difficult. Now, if you think of people that are good defenders, let's say you're playing against a pair that are pretty good defenders, have you noticed how they manage to take all of their tricks? They seem to lead the suits you don't want them to lead. They get roughs, they get everything. They stop you getting to dummy. They manage to do that. They're all doing it blind too. So what we want to do is get everyone up to speed so they're able to defend in such a way that you'll be competitive. Now, one of the ways that you can do that is, and I did mention this before, is this technique of visualization, where you have to imagine from the bidding what has happened. By the way, you may not know how scoring works when we play bridge. If we ever get to play again at the club, rather than on Zoom or looking at each other, if we ever get to sit at the table together, the type of bridge that we play is called match point, where your score is compared to every other score at the table. So let's say you're in a contract of 4 spades and you go down 1. It doesn't matter that you went down 1. That's not the bit that counts. The bit that counts is your score compared to other people's score at the other tables. So if they all went down 2, you get a top board. And you've all seen on the bridge mate where it's out of 100 and it gives you a score out of 100, and the opponents get whatever the rest is that adds up to 100. So if you get 60% on that board, they get 40%. It always adds up to 100. So you get a bad score, they get a good score, vice versa. Okay. Now I have a PowerPoint, some PowerPoint slides, and I'm just about to start. And in a minute I'll share it, and you should all be able to see it. Okay, now I'm just going to share the screen. I won't be a sec.
Oh, look at that, Richard. Well done. Mm.
Okay, now if all of you should be able to see on your screen somewhere a hand. Okay, you should be able to see a hand, your west, and you should be able to see a west, and you should be able to see the full option, and it says hand 1. Can everyone see that?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
All right. Now I want you to have a look at the option You're going to make the opening lead here, but I want you to tell me some things about the option. Now, by the way, I'll just go back a bit. When you're going to make the opening lead, take your time. I've seen many players, including some here that I'm talking to, that you have the card out to lead even before everyone else has worked out whose lead it is. You must have time to think. You should think about the option. Even if the opponents haven't bid, even if your partner hasn't bid, you know the opponents have because they're playing the hand. Think about the option. So tell me what you think about this option, whatever comes to your observational mind. We can hear someone talking, but we can't hear what they're saying.
I would lead the 4 of diamonds.
Now, before we get to the lead, by the way, someone else said that exactly the same yesterday. Forget about what you're going to lead. Think about the option first. This is the point of it. Think about the option. Tell me what you think of the option. And try and visualize. Sorry?
The opponents don't have that many points because they've stopped at 2 spades. I don't think they can get to game. So my partner must have some points but can't bid over. Oh no, my partner passed. So
you would lead anything except spades.
Okay, now, all right. But how many points does your partner have?
I would assume my partner's got 10 or 11 points and only 4 spades and 4 hearts maximum.
All right. Now, Kathy's come up with a good observation. That partner, have you noticed that partner is a passed hand?
Yes.
Partner is a passed hand. And you have how many points? 4. Partner has 10 or 11 points. Okay? But the opponents haven't bid the game. What's going on? Someone's trying to speak, but we can't hear.
They don't have a 9 card fit because they would have got to at least 3. And they're probably, that they don't see game points.
So they're probably balanced, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I see here. Partner hasn't opened. Partner's probably got a balanced 11 points and didn't think it was enough to open. If they had 12, they would have opened the bidding. South's opened 1 spade, North bid 2 spades. Kathy rightly observed that they don't see that they have enough for game. I think South has 15 or 16 points. North has 9 or 10, but very balanced, like a 4-3-3 or something, and they don't see enough for game. So now you have to do here this visualization process. You have to think about what's happening at the other tables. Will other tables bid to game with their 25 points? Now, you have to take it off mute if you want to speak, but the idea is that I think people will bid to game with their 25 points.
Why are you saying they've got 25? Where do you...
Your partner didn't open pen. Your partner has at the most 11 points and you have 4. 4 and 11 is 15. Take that away from 40. You can ask the maths teacher if you don't believe me. That leaves 25. Okay, so 25 points the opponents have. Let's assume that at other tables, they will bid to game.
Yep.
If you can make game on this hand, you will get a good score. Can you see that?
Yep.
Because if they can make 10 tricks, that your opponents will get 170. If there's 10 tricks to be made, at the other tables, they're going to score 420. You hope they can make 10 tricks on this hand. These are the things you think of before you decide on the opening lead. Then you think about the suit you're going to lead, and we'll do more next week on the opening lead, and then you pick the card within that suit. Now, someone said a diamond. Okay, I probably would lead a heart, but if you're going to lead a diamond, which card would you lead?
4.
The 4. Fourth best from an honour, yes? Sounds right. Okay. And if you're going to lead a heart, which card would you lead?
6.
Middle.
The 6. I would lead the 6. Now, just to go on to the next, I have said that I would lead a heart, and on this hand, I would lead the 6 of hearts, because what everyone might not know this, but if you lead a low card, you are showing an honour in that suit and a broken suit. If you lead the 4 of diamonds, partner will know you have an honour in diamonds. If you lead the 9 or the 6 of hearts, partner will think you don't have much in that suit, otherwise you would have let a low one. So this is a common thing to think of. Now, some people use the acronym BOSTON, B-O-S-T-O-N, bottom of something, top of nothing, BOSTON. What that means is, if you have something in that suit, i.e. an honour, you lead a bottom card or 4th highest, like the 4 of diamonds. Okay, if you have nothing in the suit, you lead the 9 or the 6. Now, people lead the 6 in this instance because of what's known as MUD, middle, up, down. You've heard of that acronym as well, I suppose.
Yep.
What that means is, Susie Ingle plays MUD, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
And what happens here is MUD means you lead middle, then you play up, and then you play down. So you play the cards in that order, middle, up, down. Now, what that means is, if you lead the 6 here, the middle card, the next time that suit is played, you have to play the 9. Otherwise, if you play the 4, partner will think you've got a doubleton because you played high-low. Now, therein lies the problem. Many people forget to play the up card on the second trick. But apart from that, I think it's a pretty good option. Okay.
Richard, if you led the 9,
Yes.
would that suggest either you've got nothing or a singleton?
Or doubleton.
Oh, yeah. So
Yeah,
9 would be
or-
quite safe to lead.
It would, because if you lead a high card, now many people have an agreement that you lead top of nothing, meaning the top card, not necessarily middle. So it all depends on your agreement with partner. With most of my partners I play with, we play MUD, but like I said, you have to remember to play the highest card second time, don't you, Mary Prowse, who's not here? Anyway, yes, you do. So, but sometimes you have an agreement with partner that you lead the 9 as top of nothing, but then no matter which card you play next, partner will think you have a doubleton. So that's just something to be aware of. Okay, so you, as I was saying, you base your defense on what you could imagine that the opponents have in their hand. And I think Kathy's right. If they had a 9-card fit, one of them would have made a move to go to game. So they've probably got an 8-card fit, partner has 3 spades. And you would have noticed in the notes that I said you can adopt a passive defense or an assertive defense. Now, the reason you do this is, by the way, I think leading a heart is quite passive. A diamond may give something away. A lot of people won't lead away from a jack because they think it gives too much away. But if partner has the queen or the 10, it won't give anything away. If they have a higher card, it probably will. Now, so if you adapt the passive defense, that means you wait for declarer to make an error or to lead a suit for you. If declarer has to lead diamonds, if partner has an honour, you'll probably make at least one trick in diamonds. If you lead diamonds, you might not. So that's the difference between passive and assertive. Now, the reason you make an assertive defence strategy is when you can see in dummy, or you think in declarer's hand, that they have a long, strong side suit, or they're able to quickly rattle off winners and draw trumps, etc. So they're the sort of things that you think of when you're considering your defence. Now, I want you to look at another hand. It's a very similar hand, but this time you're still Wes and you're still going to be on lead. This time your partner has opened the bidding. Then the opponents have bid spades, you've bid hearts, they've bid spades, and you passed it out at the 2 level. So tell me what you think about this bidding.
Fairly even points.
I reckon it's very even points, Kathy. How many?
I can hear you, kids.
That's Zen. Is that hello, Zen? Hello, Artie.
Yeah, there's 5 or 6 of them there.
Oh my goodness gracious me! She's had a growth factor. Now, I'll tell you what I think about this hand, because some of you are reluctant to give an opinion because you think that Richard might say, oh, I don't think that's right. But it's just an assumption that we make.
I can't do it with my back.
Okay. Now, that sounded like Susie Ingle, didn't it?
No, that was Nan Jacobs.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay. It's the Glaswegian lassie.
Oh.
Well, let's have a look at this hand. How many points does partner have? Partner hasn't decided to
13.
Yeah, I reckon they've got no more than 13, because otherwise they would have been 3 hearts. Never let good opponents play at the 2 level, remember? So partner won't have 6 hearts and they won't have 14 or more points. Let's say partner has 12 or 13 points. Now, how many points do the opponents have? If partner has, I'll tell you what I do. I think of a number here. So I'll say to myself, partner has 12 points. If partner has 12 points, you know what the opponents have. So 12 and 6 is 18, the opponents have 22, yes?
Yep.
So what I would say is, if the opponents have 22 points and you have 18, like Kathy said, it's very even in points. Now, your partner has bid hearts and you've supported hearts. You thought that the points are pretty even. They've stayed in 2 spades. Your side has made a decision not to be competitive on this hand, to let them play at the 2 level for better or worse. So what suit might you lead in this situation?
Heart.
Heart. Because you both bid it and partner's shown a 5-card suit, yes? So I think it stands out, doesn't it? Let's lead a heart. Now, which heart are we going to lead?
4.
The 4. And the reason you lead the 4 is same principle. Now, a lot of people, especially newbies, will think partner's bid a suit and I've bid this suit. I'm going to lead the highest card in that suit. It's rarely going to be beneficial for your side. And that's what you want. You want it to be beneficial for your side. You lead a low card saying, I've got an honour in our suit partner. So you can play a high card here, depending on what's in dummy. And then we'll go from there. We'll work out the defence. That seems like the safest. It's a passive and an assertive lead at the same time, because you may establish some other tricks in that suit. One anyway. Remember, if you have 8 cards between you and partner, which it looks like, the opponents, one of them is going to have 2 of them, and one of them is going to have 3. Looks like you're only going to get 1 trick here, maybe 2, okay, in hearts. Anyway, so yes, I would lead a heart as well, and lead a low heart. By the way, when I first sent out the invitation for these lessons, I did send a table of standard leads. Do people remember seeing that?
Yep.
Yep.
Right. Oh, look, Penny Malumbi's got it printed and available for all to see. And I'm going to send it out to people again.
Notified. Yeah.
I'm going to send it out to people again. And what it is, Jane has it as well. What it is what you would lead with different card combinations and with some with comments, and why you might do it, etc. Okay, so okay. Now, I did talk about if they've shown a strong suit, you want to be particularly assertive, and if they've shown medium hands that are balanced, you probably, and they can't get quick tricks, you probably want to passively defend and let them make the errors. I can tell you that when you think of people that you might consider to be good declarers and good players, the thing that they rub their hands together the most for is when opponents break open or lead a suit for them that they're not going to touch. Okay? So they mightn't know where the king or the queen is, and they mightn't know how things are breaking. And they love it when you lead the suit for them. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, by the way, we may do some other video lessons on declarer play, because that's probably something we can do as well. Because I know a lot of people in this lesson compared to yesterday, this is probably the lesser experienced group of the two. And I know that you wouldn't mind having some assistance with the play of the hand. But for those of you that know, I know there's a few good players out there that's tuned in that know all about playing the hand, and they would know that as a declarer, everyone can see that the aces and kings, and you've got top cards in a suit when you count your tricks. Everyone can see that they're going to win tricks. It's knowing how to establish extra tricks that is a hard thing to do. Now, it's even harder when you're defending. But basically, defenders have the same opportunity and the same methods, there's about 5 methods, available to gain some extra tricks. This is not the ace and the king that you can see. This is getting extra tricks that you may not be able to see. I'll just bring up another hand here. If you spot any errors in the hands, no, they're all come out of my head. So there could be wrong shapes or wrong bidding or wrong lead or anything. I have looked at them, but you never know. There's always one slips through. Now, let's have a look at the bidding here. This time, you're dealer and you've opened the bidding. And you have, how many points? 12, isn't it?
4, 7.
Yep. 12
Yep.
points.
Well,
Now, you've decided to open, and you've opened one club. You don't have a 5-card major. You've opened one of your lowest equal card minor, and that's one club. North is overcalled 1 heart, and East, your partner, remember, has made a double. What do we think of that double? What does it mean?
He's showing 4 spades.
That's right. Was that Escher answering that question, or was it you, Kathy?
It was me.
All right. Now, hear what Kathy said. That's a negative double. And East is showing 4 spades. That's your partner. Your partner has said they have 4 spades. How do we know this? Because you have an agreement with your partner that you play negative doubles in this situation. Now, what if partner bids 1 spade there? They would be showing 5 spades. Most people play negative doubles in this situation. It always shows 4 of the other major and may have 4 of the unbid minor. partner has 4 spades and may have 4 diamonds, and your partner is saying to you, I would have bid if North didn't stick their oar in, those pesky opponents. So you know that partner has 4 spades and they have at least 6 points. Okay. Now, I want you to analyse the option and tell me how many points you think each of the opponents have. We know our points. How many points for an overcall by North?
10-ish.
10 plus.
10-ish, and I wouldn't say 10 plus because it might even be less if they want to show their good 5-card heart suit to the ace king. So let's say they've got 9 points. Let's say 9 or 10 points. Partner has at least 6, we decided, yes?
Yep.
They may have even done it with 5, but anyway, we'll say 6. If partner has 6 and we have 12, that's 18. South thinks they've got enough to bid 2 no trumps, which would be invitational. So South's going to have 11 or 12 points, aren't they? Does that make sense? If North has 10, South has 12, is 22.
Yep.
We have 12, is 34. Partner has 6, is 40. That makes sense, doesn't it?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Think about these things. By the way, we all get an opportunity to think during the play of the hand, but only at the beginning. You shouldn't be thinking during the play of the hand about what to do. You should have already decided that after you see dummy. You are now on lead. You get a chance to think. You should be running this option through your mind. This is the only time you're allowed to have time to think. So think first before you choose the suit. After you choose the suit, then choose the card within that suit. Now, one trick that I do, or one observation that I make to myself is, which of our side, partner or I, has the most points? And if it's me, it might be beneficial to lead a suit that I have. If it's partner, it might be beneficial to lead a suit that partner has. Okay, so I think to myself, okay, we've both got spades here. Why wouldn't I lead a spade? Would you all be thinking that?
Yeah.
Why not? And if you're going to lead a spade, based on our previous discussion, which card would you lead?
2.
2 of spades, 4th highest. Okay, so I've got that underlined and highlighted. We're going to lead the 2 of spades here. Okay, partner knows we have an honour. They'll think we've got 3 or 4 spades, right? They know it's not a doubleton because we would have led a higher than the 2. They know that it's 4, or they think it's probably not 5 because we opened 1 club, so we probably don't have a 5-card major. We've got 3 or 4 spades. Partners making the same calculations. By the way, have you noticed that when you first start playing, you usually have this thought process of banging down the ace and the king of clubs to get those tricks quickly? That's not something you should be thinking here. They're not going to go away, I don't think. We're defending no trumps. That's not going to go away. So you need to establish tricks in another suit first. Okay, so let's say we can always get them. We might get 1 or 2 spade tricks if we lead a spade. Okay, so this is what I'd be thinking here. I'd be leading a spade and I'd lead the 2 of spades. Okay, now I'm just going to change it slightly. This time you're defending 2 no trumps, but you have only 10 points this time, but a similar hand. And it's a flat hand. Your partner hasn't bid, but they've stopped in 2 no trumps. Analyse the bidding of the opponents. Tell me what you think. How many points does South have?
11.
Yes.
Okay. Usually 11, 12 there to invite to game. They may have 10 if they've got good diamond support and they think they can cover the other suits. But I'm going to count them for 11 points because this is what I like to do, find a midpoint there, because if I'm wrong, it's only going to be 1 point either way. If I tell myself that South has 11 points, then they're going to have 10, 11 or 12. I can only be 1 point out, usually. By the way, I forgot to mention, if you're playing against good players, it's easier to trust their bidding. If you're playing against less experienced players, it's not so easy to trust their bidding. Okay, now, let's say that South has 11 points. North has declined the invitation. They're not going to have 14 points, are they? And if they've got good diamonds, they probably don't have 13 either. I'm going to tell myself they've got 12 points. I'm going to tell myself they've got 23. And with my 10 is 33, I'm going to think that partner's got about 7 points. What else can you tell me about their hand, apart from those observations? What don't they have, partner and the opponents?
Spades.
Well, let me ask you this. If North had 4 spades, wouldn't they have bid them after South's 1 heart? They don't have 4 spades. They probably don't have 4 clubs either, because they might have bid them. Now, your partner doesn't have 5 spades to the ace, queen, jack. They might have overcalled with their 8, 9 points. And they don't have 5 hearts either. So your partner probably doesn't have enough to overcall. So thinking about all these things, which suit would you choose to lead here?
Hey,
Spade? Yeah, I think a spade. The opponents probably don't have spades. South might have, but North doesn't. So I think we'd lead a spade here. If we're going to lead a spade, we'd choose a low one. We'd choose the 2 of spades to show an honour in that suit. Now, what about if I change the hand around again, because, you know, I can do that, and we let this hand out. The bidding is the same, by the way, folks, but now we only have 7 points. I'm going to make the same assumption. I'm going to say North has 12, South has 11. So how many points does partner have based on that? Partner's got about 11 points, haven't they?
Yeah.
10 or 11. If you trust your opponent's bidding, your partner's going to have 10 or 11 points here. Now, even more so than the last hand, if partner had 5 hearts or 5 spades and they had an honour or 2 in those suits, wouldn't they have bid their 5-card suit when they had the opportunity?
Yep.
They would have, wouldn't they? They might have 5 clubs and didn't want to bid them at the 2 level with their 10 points, but they don't have 5 hearts or 5 spades. North doesn't have 4 spades. Thinking about that, remember what I said before, it's what your partner hasn't shown as well as important as what they have shown. If my partner has definitely more points than me, I tend to think that I'll try partner's suit rather than my own. But I don't know whether to be passive here or assertive in this situation. So what suit would you consider leading that's against no trump?
Four spades.
Now, let's say that you rule out the red suits. That leaves a spade or a club. Which one would you lead? Which suit?
Spade.
Now, some people say a spade. I think partner doesn't have 5 spades, otherwise they probably would have overcalled. But partner has more points than us. I think this is a close go. Partner may have 4 or 5 clubs. And so I took the coward's way out here and highlighted 2 cards. I'd either lead the 4 of spades or the 2 of clubs in this situation. If I lead the 2 of clubs, I'm playing the ace next time to unblock the high card, but I'm leading a low one or the 4. Now, the 4 of spades may be ambiguous here because you're playing middle up down, but if that's what we're playing. So just remember that when you're leading, partner may not be able to read what the 4 means. So they're the types of things we think about when before you make the opening lead. And remember I said that you get a chance to make the opening lead. It's the only time you get a chance to think. The same for declarer. Now, I've probably said to nearly all of you at different times, dummy comes down, stop, think, make a plan. Don't just say, thank you, partner, I'll have the 2, please. Just stop and think. Okay. Now, also, your partner, who's 3rd player here, they get a chance to think as well while dummy's coming down and declarer's making a plan. This is the only time that the defenders really get a chance to think without giving too much away or giving unauthorised information to their partner. So think of that when that you have this opportunity now for full consideration of what you might lead and how the defence might go. Now, if I wanted to be passive here, I think I'd lead a spade. If I wanted to be assertive, I think I'd lead a low club, because partner may have king, queen of clubs. So we go 2, and they know you've got an honour. 2 to the queen, low back to your ace, 3 back to their king, clear the suit, first 5 tricks, easy. Lemon squeezy. Or so it would go, but that's the way that I like to visualise or picture the hand and how it might be played with the points, the bidding, and like I said, you might have to take lesser experienced players bidding with a grain of salt. But apart from that, let's imagine you're defending against Zig and John. Would they be, if they had anywhere near 25 points, they'd be in game, wouldn't they? If of an oily rag, so you can assume they don't have enough for game, so they've probably only got 22 points or 23. So that's the way you think. Trust their bidding if they're good or experienced players. Now, I just want to show you a few things there. We'll talk about opening leads more next week. I just want to talk to you now about, that I mentioned before, the 5 methods available to declarer and to defenders to get extra tricks. Okay. Remember that you can't see your partner's hand when you're defending. That is a big obstacle compared to declarer, who can see 2 hands, theirs and dummy. You get to see dummy, but that mightn't help you with what's in your partner's hand. But it can tell you what's not in your partner's hand. So imagine this hand here. The opponents have bid to game in spades and you're on lead. You imagine that your ace of clubs is going to win a trick any time. Your partner may have the king of clubs, and it might be right to lead the ace of clubs, hoping your partner encourages, and you then win the king of, partner wins the next club and gives you a rough with one of your small spades. That sounds easy. It may not be enough, but let's imagine that you are thinking in that way. The other way to think about this here is to think, I'm going to leave that ace of clubs for a minute, and I'm going to establish a trick in hearts. This is promotion. This is why we leave the top of an honour sequence. When we have 2 cards in a sequence against a trump contract, we leave the top of that suit. So let's say we decide to lead the king of hearts here. We lead the king of hearts, and the opponents win the ace. When we get in again, our side, with a club or a spade or a diamond, partner will then lead a heart back to us. Now, the the reason when we lead the top of a sequence against a suit contract, we do so when we have 2 in a sequence is fine. Now, the reason it's different against suit or no trump, in suit, the opponents, if our partner has 3 cards in hearts, one of the opponents only has a doubleton heart, because that would make 8 leaving 5. That would mean one of them only has a doubleton. So we're not likely to get any more than 1 heart winner here. So it's okay to lead the king with a sequence of 2. 2 meaning just the king and the queen. But I think that's the way I would go here, by leading the king of hearts. This type of extra trick is called promotion. You're sacrificing your king to the ace if the opponents have it, so you can win you can promote your queen to the boss heart. So that's called a tricks by promotion. Now, if you're leading the same suit against no trumps, I've changed the bidding here, and you've made an overcall at the 1 level in hearts. If you choose to lead this suit against no trumps, and your partner hasn't supported, if you choose, you would lead the 4th highest here, because it's considered that a sequence of 2 is not quite enough for you to lead, you to lead the king, because you're missing the jack, 10, 9, etc. So if you look at those table of standard leads, you see why that's different for no trumps. So your hope partner here has the jack, ace, or hopefully the 10 or something when you lead a low one. But that's quite an assertive lead against no trumps. But I think I'd do it anyway, just in case we can establish 2 or 3 heart tricks and the ace of clubs and maybe a diamond. Anyway, that's the way the thought process goes. So if you had 3 cards in a sequence against no trumps, you're leading the top card here. King, Queen, Jack, or King, Queen, 10 lead the top of the sequence against no trumps. Okay, that's called promotion. You're promoting a trick that that wouldn't necessarily win straight away, but it may be later. Okay. Another way of establishing extra tricks is with long suits. Now, you might think that your hearts look fairly mediocre here, to say the least, but you do have the ace and you do have length in hearts. So imagine this, that your partner has 3 little hearts as well as your hearts, little hearts. They might have the 6, 7, and 8. If they do, you have 8 hearts between you. The opponents only have 5. 67% of the time, 2/3 of the time, one opponent's going to have 2 and the other one's going to have 3. So even though your hearts look rather weak, the opponents, if they have 2 and 3, only have 2 winners in hearts. Even if they have the king, queen, jack, 10, 9, they only have 2 winners in hearts if they break 3, 2. So it's still beneficial for you to lead your 4th highest heart. After they win 1 heart and then another heart, you might be able to win the 2 and the 5 of hearts, or 2 and the 4, even though when you start out, that looks not likely that you're going to win anything. This usually only works against no trumps, unless the opponents have run out of trumps. That's called long suit establishment. Imagine you're playing the hand and you have an 8-card fit. It's also a good way to go here by playing on the hearts. Establish your longest suit, even if the pips don't look promising. So that's another way of getting extra tricks. Now, you know that when you're playing the hand as declarer, you also have the opportunity to take a finesse. And you might think that that opportunity isn't available to defenders, but rest assured it is. And I'll show you another hand here.
What's the difference between finessing and roughing?
Okay, I heard a voice from the blue there. Roughing is when you are short in a side suit and you're able to use one of your small trumps. That's trumping or roughing. A finesse is when is an attempt by declarer or defenders to win a trick with a card that's not the highest outstanding card. So for instance, if you have the ace and queen in dummy and you're missing the king, you lead a low card towards the ace and the queen. The king doesn't appear on your left. You play the queen, which is a standard finesse, in an attempt to win the queen if the king is on your left-hand side. So that's a standard finesse, an attempt to win a trick with a card that's not the highest card extant. So that's the difference. So a finesse is usually available to declarer. But I want to show you this hand. This hand's slightly different. You are now east. You've changed sides and you are now east. You can see the auction. You've passed, north's passed, and south's open to no trump. Let's say they have 20 or 21 points and north put them into 3 no trumps. They've got 25 or 26 points. You have 8 points. Partner has much the same in points. Now, based on what we said before about Boston, by the bottom of something, top of nothing, your partner has led the 2 of hearts. Now we know that partner has an honour in hearts. We know that partner has exactly 4 hearts if we're playing 4th best leads. So this is why we do this. So we know partner has 4 hearts. We know declarer has 3 hearts. We know that partner, by the way, the 10 is an honour as well. We know that partner has queen or the ace of hearts. Now, declarer has played the 3 of hearts from dummy. Let's say that partner has the ace of hearts and declarer has the queen. Now, if we play the, let's say that declarer has the ace and partner has the queen. You play the king of hearts here. If you do, because that's what everyone tells you, third hand plays their highest card. You play the king of hearts here. Declarer wins the ace. I want you to imagine in your mind now what happened. Now, as it looked like before, when dummy came down, it didn't look like there were any entries to the north hand. If you play the king of hearts now, I'll show you what happens. Declarer wins the ace. Now they lead a low heart towards the jack X through your partner's queen. There is now an entry to dummy that you've created by playing the king. Now, when declarer gets to the table with the jack of hearts, they now plonk down the queen of clubs. What happens to your king? It's dead, isn't it? Your king of clubs is now not worth a red cent. So, I want you to go back a step. By the way, if your king of clubs is not worth anything and you cover the queen or jack, the queen of clubs, declarer will have another entry with a club, and now they can finesse it through your queen of spades. Whoops, you think to yourself, what have I done? Okay, I'm going to give you a tip here. Now, imagine that in dummy was the king of hearts and you had the ace queen. If declarer plays low, everybody plays the queen because you can see all top 3 and you don't need to play your ace. Well, this is very similar. This might be seen as a finesse against your partner, but it is also the correct thing to do on many occasions, and this will be a giant step on your defensive prowess if you can master this. When the 3 of hearts is played in dummy, you play the 10 of hearts. It doesn't matter where the ace and the queen are. The declarer is only going to win them once, and they're only going to win 1 trick if you play the 10. And they're not going to get an entry to dummy to capture your king of clubs. They do not have an entry to dummy. You play the 10. Now, this type of play is only available in this situation when you know partner has an honour, when you see an honour in dummy, and you have 2 honours, one either side of the honour in dummy. Do not play the higher honour. Play the 10. This is hard to do, and you think, oh, I better deflect partner's opprobrium here, and I'll play the highest card like you're supposed to, and that way if they say anything, I'll say, yes, but you let it, so I had to play the king. Well, you don't. Play the 10. This is like a finesse, and it's for many reasons here. First of all, you want the opponents to win if they only have the queen. You want them to take their honour straight away, their stopper, and they won't get another trick in that suit, and they won't get to dummy. This is about 3 tricks difference. If you play the king of hearts, they're making 9 or 10 tricks. You play the 10 of hearts, they're making 7 tricks. So think about this. When you have this situation, when your 2 honours surround one either side of the honour in dummy, do not play your highest honour. Now, it's hard to do, but you'll notice many good players doing this, and you'll notice that when you're the declarer, you think, bloody hell, why didn't they put up their king or their ace or their queen? That's what they're supposed to do. Well, they're not going to make it easy for you because it's a bit of a battle, declarer versus defender. Okay, I just want to do that one. So you can finesse against your partner sometimes. Now, I'm going to show you another hand here. I just want you to absorb the bidding and dummy and what the lead is. Have a look at that while I just let the cats in. They're meowing at the door.
What about the donkey?
The donkey is braying, but you probably can't hear him because Ruth's down in the paddock and the donkey's down there, so he'll be happy. He likes a bit of company.
Okay.
Right, 1 heart, 2 heart, 4 hearts.
Okay, there was one cat at the door, the 14-year-old cat, our eldest cat. The donkey is now 29, so he's looking a bit old lately. But, yes, he'll be happy down there. Ruth might have a licorice all sort for him, or a carrot. Okay, we've had a look at this hand. And the opponents have bid to 4 hearts. Now, this one is about, imagine that your partner has the queen of diamonds as well as the king. So you might be able to rough or trump here. So what will happen on this hand, the same as declarer, if they trump in their hand that has the shorter suit of trumps, they will get an extra trick. And you might be able to get an extra trick here as well, because that's what it's all about. So partner leads the king of diamonds. Low is played from dummy. You play the 9. You're going to play high-low if that's what your preference is, to show a doubleton and to encourage. Declarer wins the ace of diamonds, which you hope they do. They lead a heart to the king. You win the ace straight away. Diamond back to partner's queen. They lead another diamond, fingers crossed, for you to utilise one of your smaller worthless trumps, the 8 and the 3, and you now have won a diamond, a heart and a trump. So you're well on the way to defeating the contract. So this is an extra trick here that you get by roughing or trumping. So and because your worthless trumps, the 8 and the 3, weren't going to win tricks, but they now might, or one of them might. So this is another way of getting extra tricks in the defence. The only other way is throwing losers on winners. Now, this is more complex. You notice all of these strategies are very difficult when you're defending, because it's easier utilising these options when you're playing the hand, because of the fact that declarer can see two hands. You can as well, but you can't see your partners. So there's another hand I want to show you. Oh, that didn't work. Another hand I want to show you is this last hand, where the opponents have bid to 4 spades, but it went south, bid 1 spade. Your partner bid 2 hearts, they have at least 10 points and at least 5 hearts. North bid 3 hearts, and that has an asterisk next to it because it's a conventional bid. That's known as a Q raise. North is saying, not that they've got hearts, but they have good support in spades, and they have enough to go to at least 3 spades, and maybe 4, and south bid 4 spades. That's called a Q raise, and a lot of people use these, and it keeps you out of the bidding, and it also shows their hand. So that's for another time. But anyway, they're playing in 4 spades. Your partner leads the ace of hearts. You only have 1 heart. But see what happens if your partner plays the ace, the king, and the queen of hearts. You can only follow suit once. And if on the next time, when partner plays the king and the queen, you discard your 3 and 8 of clubs, or 8 and 3, you do them in that order, you now have no clubs. So if partner now switches to a club, the ace and the king in dummy, even if they're played, you're going to win 1 or 2 of your little trumps. This is, you're discarded 2 club losers on partner's good hearts. So you can do this. It's easier to do when you declare it, throw losers on winners. When you're defending, it's very difficult. Okay. Now, that's all of the screen show that I've got to share with you. So I'm going to stop that, and we're back in the Zoom room now. By the way, I'm glad you stuck with me, and you've all been very patient. And it's nice to see. I can't see John Schilling. It says John Schilling, but I can see 2 people there. One of them's not John Schilling.
Well,
But it's nice to see Barb Ross. I haven't seen you for a long time. Kathy, it's lovely to see you. I haven't seen you for eons. We've spoken on the phone, of course. It's nice to see everyone. I've seen Greg Sheridan and where's oh, there's Penn, of course. It is talking to Penn. Seen Penn Schilling and Greg Sheridan recently. Had a game of bridge at Val's place. And I've seen, who else? I've seen Susie Engel out shopping. It's nice to see Marlene. I haven't seen Kath Baggs for a while. Haven't seen Jean out enjoying the sunshine or anything. So it's really lovely to see people. So what do people think of this Zoom business? And is that lesson okay for you? And you're allowed to ask questions.
Yeah.
Very good, thank you.
Okay. Now,
it was really
Yes.
good to get the notes, Richard, beforehand, so to look over them before it came on. So that was really good.
Yes.
Thanks, Penny. Thanks, Penny. I will. I'll send out the table of standard leads again, because I know that people may not have kept that attachment. But yes, it's. We're going to do this over 4 weeks, and you can tune in on either day. By the way, I don't. That my room, my Zoom room, is actually my ABF number and our ABF club number. So it's easy for me to remember because I just made that up and accepted it. And I'm going to have, there's no password. I know some people have passwords, I don't. And we're going to do this again in the next few weeks. Now, so next week we're going to cover more in depth on opening leads, because that's always fraught with danger. We're going to do carding in the 3rd week, and that's about discards, encouragement, and that sort of thing. And then the last week, we'll talk more about the visualization process and the type of game we're defending. But apart from that, it's all good. By the way, we're all new at this. I've used Zoom quite a few times, but I haven't conducted lessons on Zoom. I've been a participant a few times. We've been having a few bridge teachers and bridge directors meetings via Zoom. But so any feedback with some suggestions is good. So, but if that format is okay with you, we'll keep doing it.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, but I don't mind if you can send me a note or an email or a text or something. So Greg Sheridan's got his thumb up there. By the way, for those of you that haven't used Zoom, down on the bottom usually there's a little tab, there's a little icon that says reactions,
Mine's
and you can put applause or thumbs up and that sort of thing. So there you go, Susie, that's how you do it. Yeah, thank you. And I'm glad for your attendance. So same time next week. And like I said, you can tune in either day is fine. But we've had, I think we've got 13 or 14 on each day, which is good, a good number. I did say initially if we had more than 20, we'd split it over 2. So that's what we've done. So it's really nice to see you all. It's an interesting times we live in, and 12 months ago, you wouldn't have thought that you'd be participating in Zoom meetings, would you? You think that'd be just for young people. Now, what do you got to say, Greg Sheridan?
I noticed you've got a recording there, Richard, and how do we get access?
You did notice that, did you?
I did too.
Yes.
Okay. The recording's going into the cloud somewhere, so if it works out okay, we may be able to share it, okay?
Okay.
Well, thank you, Richard.
Now, Kathy, can we do a session on conventions? Well, I'm thinking about, I don't know if you've got anything in mind. What I'd suggest is anything that I propose, I'm going to put through the committee. I mean, I could do this on my own. There's no problem with that. But if we do it through the club, so I've got a few things that I wouldn't mind doing. I wouldn't mind doing declare a play. I'm counting things off on my hands there like this. I wouldn't mind doing declare a play because I think some people might need assistance there. I wouldn't mind doing some conventions that people would benefit from that they don't use, and I wouldn't mind doing competitive auctions. So they're the 3 things that I have in mind. If you have any other suggestions, Kathy said that she wouldn't mind doing some conventions that you may or might not use. Like I talked then about queue raises, check back, and other things that might be at our level. So yes, I think we could do that. If you have any suggestions, feel free. Now, Jean Evans is laughing. She's mastered all them already, I think. So,
I'm laughing, Richard, because at least we've achieved something. I've had 2 church meetings on Zoom, and one person has been upside down every time at that meeting. It's quite disconcerting. We haven't had someone upside down. So that's
well, there you go. Did you see that one doing the rounds where someone in England, when they had a meeting, I think she was the team leader as well, was fiddling around with her settings, and she had an avatar of a talking potato head for the whole meeting, and she didn't know how to change it. So all of her team, you could check it out on YouTube. It's rather funny because all of her team couldn't stop laughing because all they had was a talking potato head. So,
someone upside down.
Okay, bye, Greg. All right, we're going to go. I'm going to end the meeting. So goodbye to everyone and thank you.
Thanks, Richard. Bye, everyone.
Richard,
Bye.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Richard, I was wondering how I might get this video working, that's all.
Okay, well, we might have to do a session before next week, John, and I'll give you a call.
Give you a ring, okay, thank you.
Righto.
Okay.
Cheers, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.